in history of Susan Rice. And so I stand here with great pride with my colleagues. But I think we all know what the real deal is. We knew what this story was about before the election. It was about trying to undermine the election of President Barack Obama. After the election, to me, I think what the real deal is that our Republican colleagues are disoriented, frankly, and are in a tailspin since the election. They want to shoot. They don't know who to shoot. They don't know where the target should be. So right now, the target is on the back of Susan Rice. There is no there. This has been very clear. I think you've heard from my colleagues today very specifically why there is no basis and no legitimacy to the notion that Ambassador Rice would deliberately mislead the American public. You have to ask yourself, what could she possibly gain from doing this? What the Republicans are accusing her of is completely inconsistent with her 20-plus-year history as a diplomat, all of her accomplishments, both academic and professional. I'm afraid that my Republican colleagues are trying to build a narrative to start a drumbeat about the ambassador in an attempt to derail a potential appointment to the State Department, and an appointment, I might add, that hasn't even been proposed yet. Over the last 2 years, we know the number one goal of the Republicans was to prevent the president from being reelected. Well, they failed. The message from the voters was for us to work together. We should be dealing with the fiscal issues facing our nation. We should be getting to the bottom of what happened in Benghazi, identifying what we need to do to protect the over 300 diplomats serving our nation around the world. And I might ask that Congress needs to make sure the State Department has the resources to protect our diplomats. Ironically, my same Republican colleagues wanted to cut hundreds of millions of dollars from the State Department budget, money that could have been used to protect diplomats. And now they're concerned about this. Our first order of business, as I said, should be to prevent a fiscal crisis. If one occurs now, it's going to be of our own making because of our inaction. A fiscal crisis could take place. In January, President Obama will be sworn in again. The message from the voters is for us to work together. My Republican colleagues over the holidays need to do some soul searching and ask themselves, do they plan to spend the next 4 years chasing ghosts? The ghost of Watergate, the ghost of Whitewater, in an attempt now to derail his presidency? They should stop trying to smear an incredible academic and professional record. I'm waiting for Donald Trump now to ask for her transcripts. We have to stop disrespecting Ambassador Rice with the false implication that she deliberately misled the public. We will not stand for this nonsense any longer, and neither will the American public. Thank you very much.
Well, that's our message, and we'll take any questions. But again, we want them to take that back. Take back those words besmirching her, smearing her incredible accomplishments, the not so bright, in particular, untrustworthy. How dare them? Thank you. Yes, ma'am. You identify yourself to us?
Donna Casado of the Associated Press.
Okay.
You said that anytime, or one of you said anytime anything goes wrong, they pick on a woman and a minority. Can you perhaps elaborate on that? Do you feel that there is a degree of sexism and racism in their comments?
There's no question about it. There's absolutely no question about it. All of the things that they have disliked about things that have gone on in this administration, they have never called a male unqualified, not bright, not trustworthy. I don't recall it ever happening. They didn't even say that about General Petraeus, who they all up in arms about. So there is a clear, in my opinion, a clear sexism and racism that goes with these comments that are being made by, unfortunately, Senator McCain and others. And I strongly stand by that statement. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Grace Bruffy, Fox News. Even though she's not necessarily at fault for the information she was given, and do you think that the negative reactions of some make her too radioactive to have a viable shot at making it through the nomination process?
Well, I think they're trying to preempt preempt that discussion, but I think the reality is, what we've stated is that I think if you look at her record, you look at her accomplishments, her contributions to this nation, I think that anybody who looks at that record and has a fair discussion with her in any kind of a dialogue with the Senate would come up with different conclusions.
And let me just ask this. With all of the statements that Senator McCain has made, very negative ones about this administration and about Susan Rice, do you think that he's not qualified to be a senator?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Matt Cover with CNSNews.com. If Susan Rice wasn't the only one who spoke about this, the president spoke about it, others spoke about it. If President Obama, if it comes out that he did in fact mislead the country on this, what do you think Congress should do about it?
That is a speculation. We don't know. We are all trying to find out what the facts are. And Senator McCain doesn't know what happened. I think that what we're dealing with right at this moment is a signal from Senator McCain that they're not going to cooperate with the second administration of Barack Obama, that they're going to stall out and all of his nominations. This is their warning shot that they're going to filibuster her appointment and perhaps anybody else's. I think that's what it is. And here's the Intelligence Committee member.
Again, I'm really confused. The only point in contention really is whether or not there was that this attack emerged from a spontaneous a protest. And as soon as the information became clearer, and it did take some time for that to happen, then that will be clarified. There's absolutely, it's inconceivable to me for anybody to speculate that there would be a deliberate misleading of the American people. Why would there be? It's perfectly inconsequential. There either was a spontaneous demonstration and then the terrorist groups organized to take opportunistic advantage of it or not. In any case, there's no advantage to mislead the American people in that regard. I mean, you have to have motivation behind it, and there is none. And as soon as the intelligence became clearer, and as a member of the committee, I was told exactly that there was this demonstration, and there were actually 12 different sources that thought that was true, and then it came out that it actually wasn't. And so we were briefed on it. But you have to have a reason for thinking that there would be a misleading, and there isn't one.
Were you told that it was an act of terror, which I think is the words the president used in the Rose Garden, immediately afterward, or were you told that it was the...
We were told that it appeared to be elements of terrorist organizations. I think that the document, the unclassified document, which the House Intelligence Committee asked for, used the word extremists, which the analysts believe is synonymous with terrorists. So if you want to get into semantics about it, yes, that was from the beginning talked about as a possibility. And as more information came out, then that was part of the reporting. I don't get it.